Mm-hmm. I will just share my screen quickly. So hello, everyone. I am Blaz Podobnik. I am the Data Analytics Manager at MIC. And I will, in the next 10 minutes, try to share some of my visualizations and approaches and how I look at the StudentSurvey.ie data, how I try to find insights. And in this particular instance, I focused on reproducibility. So how to save time with reports that seem to be happening every year, that seem to be repeating, and how we can save that time and then use it in looking for more impactful, like deciding impactful decisions, closing the feedback loop, and so on. So saving our valuable time on things that are repeating every year. So here I've decided to focus on Excel because everyone uses Excel. Everyone is known, like familiar with Excel. It's basically a dashboard that is similar to the InTouch dashboard. But what did is I used the 2017, 18, and 19 data. Now, this data is all randomized. That's why everything is so green and it's completely random. But what it helps me to do is see an overview of what the courses are like. So where certain courses differ, like deviate from the average, and find the first point of what a question might be. So for example, if I look at course 34 and I see that there is a slight difference, I can then look at specific indicators and see those and figure out where the actual like lower grade is coming from. Now this has been then quickly thrown together. For example, if I wanted to, I could make a whole page of reports like these. And then when the 2020 results come out, or they came out, I can easily add those into the raw data and it would automatically update. So I wouldn't have to create any of this ever again. I just add the data and I have all the reports there. I can look up, I can filter by one course, I can filter by several years, and it just saves me some time. And again, most of this is already in the InTouch platform. This just brings it to Excel where I can then take it and use like formulas and make all the like calculations and percent changes and so on that I wouldn't share because they just look messy. And then another thing I did in Excel is I found that merging data sets helps make a bigger picture. So for example, I used the HA returns data and the StudentSurvey.ie data and made a dashboard of every course. So if I wanted to have an overview of a course, I could easily see that course with the student survey indicators. So it looks like this. Again, this data is completely random, so it might look messy. But for example, for every course, I can see the indicators, the general statistics, and that gives me an overview of what is happening. And again, this is all updated every year if I add the data I download. So I don't have to do any other changes to say, so it saves me some time. And I guess now I would go into something else than Excel. So for me, I do a lot of report writing. So report writing is writing reports for every course and give the student survey data, have that for managers, for everyone, and that repeats again every year. So I'm gonna stop sharing and I'm gonna share another screen. So now this is a report I've created. This is a template. It takes the downloaded data that you get from the InTouch portal. Any data set basically from any institution can be added into this and it automatically generates the whole thing. And again, every year just add the data on and it does it automatically for you. And if I want, I can separate this and make 20 documents for every institution or for every course that I want, which just again saves me some time. And I guess I'll just go through it. So maybe some visualizations might be interesting to you. So for example, here I just look at the response rates and you can see that we have more year ones responding and the percentage of final years and postgraduates is decreasing. So that might be something to look into then the next year, for example, if this would be the actual data. What I like also to look at is how many participants every course had. So if there's a big change in one course, I know that, if there's 16 students, there's going to be more changes visible, while in a big course with a lot of responses, the changes are more robust. And it's just an overview that I do every year. So for example, this year we got the 2020 data back last week. I already ran this on the actual data, and I already know all of the insights, and I know what to look for, where the changes happened. And this again is just a course comparison. So this is the same thing as the Excel file. It just has the same data. So we look at the indicators, obviously just compare them based on the indicator, not between them. But we can see which course had worse scores or better scores. And again, this is a report that you can share with anyone in one file. Anyone can open it. You can export it as a PDF or as a Word document. So it just makes it a lot easier for me to share with anyone who needs it. And it's a bit more interactive. So I've noticed that people are basically fatigued with reading PDFs and reading Word documents. So if they get something a bit more flashy, it helps them focus. So again, they can filter the results here. Another interesting thing I found is looking at the percent change from 2017 to 2019. So for example, I can see that course 70 had a big increase, or did something really good. So I can look at what happened there. Or for example, course 22 had a decrease, and I can start looking at trends over time in a one neat visual. So that's another thing that is quite helpful to me. And then if I want and answer questions that are more specific, so how does study modes compare to different indicators, I can look at here. So this is a distribution thing, distribution plots. And then I can look at, for example, how does higher order learning compare. So we can see that the first year's score or rate higher order learning lower than the final years. And then same way, the final years rated lower than the postgraduates. All of it is statistically significant. So you can have all of these results in a matter of seconds without any sort of preparation or anything else. I'll just skip this so we save some time. This is again another visual that just shows all the different scores of every course compared to the national average. So it's just basically different visualizations that I might use to communicate the scores, to communicate the results to other people. So this is again the higher order learning, just showing how year ones tends to group more into the scores between 20 and 25. The final years tend to give scores more in the range of 40, and then the postgraduates obviously rated better. So again, it's a different way of visualizing how the scores for certain indicators change with groups. And then lastly, the qualitative indicators. Again, I can send this to someone. They can look and filter by comments if they're interested in something specific. They can print those comments if they want, but still they are not able to identify anyone. And then after that, I do like this graph because it shows what words were associated with high and low quality of interaction scores. So it looks, for example, that the students who rated quality of interactions low, they often said something they used the word practical in their responses, which means that there might be something there. Now, just on itself, these words mean nothing, but to every institution, they might know and they might lead them towards further insights. And again, obviously lectures and tutorials are some words that are used quite often, so they're basically average. And then you can also see which words are being used with something with a better score. And again, this can be done with not just quality interactions, but any other score as well. And then that just gives me an insight on what's happening with the qualitative before I dig into the qualitative comments. And then lastly, this is a topic model that just gives me some topics that might be appearing in the comments. It just groups words together that appear together often and gives you an idea of what topics might be appearing. Again, it can just be random words, but once you dig into the qualitative comments, it might help you decide how to group certain comments together. And there's more, but I think that's all I have time for. And I guess I just wanted to show the ways I run analysis and how I try to save time, and maybe inspire some of you to do something similar. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Blaz. That was really, really interesting. And if I may abuse my position as moderator,